How exactly do you buy good quality long-term stocks? What most people assume is that you need books upon books and hours, maybe even a degree, but what you actually need is an investing app, some patience, and 3 simple rules. And I think we can accomplish all of this in less than 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and break it down. Let's start off from the top and then we'll work our way down into the 3 rules, all right? Patience. Patience is important because remember, I said long-term stocks, okay? Can we find these long-term stocks quickly? Yes, but patience, that's just patience, okay? But it is important because I think we are trained to, whether it's TikTok or YouTube or whatever, that it's just overnight. Everything is overnight, everything is microwave, and unfortunately, that is not the case. Even when you buy a home, even when you are paying off debt, you don't pay off debt overnight. The house is not going to be paid off overnight, and 99.9% of the time, you are not going to get wealthy overnight or choose a stock that's going to make you a millionaire overnight, okay? You might research and find the stock, but it's not going to blink, make you a millionaire overnight. You are going to have to wait. You're going to have to hurry up and wait in many cases, all right? It is what it is. But the most important thing when it comes to patience is it is about consistency in that patience. There are going to be years where the market is up, like it was in 2024, and it was up 20%. And there are going to be years in 2022 when the market is down. Check the comments. You have seen comments on my video where people were saying, hey, I'm glad I listened in 2020 when the market was down and I didn't sell because now I'm up $20,000, $30,000, or whatever. The patience can absolutely pay out, and the statistics are in your favor. When you hold for 5 years or more, and we're talking just the general index funds, you have a greater than 90% chance of making money. When you start to sell within a year, you have a less than 50% chance of making money. So patience is a tool in your toolbox. Moving on to number 2, you're going to need an investing app. Almost any investing app will do. This video is not sponsored by any particular app. I have talked about Cash App. They've never paid me. They should. Cash App, holla at your boy. But Cash App is one place you can invest. I've done several videos and playlists on Cash App and how you can use that to invest. Public is an app I've also used for years. You can use that one as well. M1 Finance, and there are several others. They can all help you to get the job done. If you need help with any of those, let me know. I've got videos and resources on most of the apps out there. So now you understand patience. You understand you need an app. Now let's talk about the 3 rules. Rule number 1 for a long-term stock. I need the stock to be at the top of its game. What I don't, quick time out. I know we've been talking a lot about investing today. However, if you don't know where to start or you haven't started yet, I have a free guide on how you can buy your first stock in just 20 minutes. To get that free guide, check out the link right here. All right, back to the video. What I want to do for a long-term stock, a long-term being defined as a year or more, and especially for me, I want to hold it for 5 years and longer. That is the goal, okay? But at minimum, at least a year. But again, I've held stocks, and y'all who have been here from the public days, I mean the stock app public, y'all know I've shown screenshots of me investing in NVIDIA on Cash App. Y'all seen year after year, NVIDIA has still been there. Y'all have seen me invest on public. Y'all saw I held O'Reilly's for well over 1,700 days or whatever it was in that screenshot. And I still hold it to this day, okay? So I am a long-term investor. We've got the receipts to prove that. So is at the top of its field, meaning of all the stocks out there, is it something that is performing in that top 5 to 10%? Okay, I don't want an underdog in the stock market. I may want it in sports. I may be the underdog in my field. I don't want it in the stock market. I ain't got time for that. Okay, I need to know, like in NVIDIA, it is top dog, worth the most, and it is really dominating the market. Okay, that is how you want to be. You want to be a front runner when it comes to the market. It may not work in sports again, but that is where you want to be because you want to hold a dominant position. And if you want to be a long-term investor, you want to be sure that, hey, I know that it's going to be decades before anybody catches up to me. All right, think of something like a Microsoft. They are still dominating in their field. It is years, it's been years before somebody's truly going to catch up to Tesla. I'm not saying Tesla's a great stock right now, but you guys get the point, right? They were in front for so long it's going to be a while before someone else catches up to them. And that happens to be in many fields. So I want you to be at the top of your game is rule number 1. Top 5% in terms of performance is what I want you to be. But when I say performance, I mean making money. Okay, so if I'm looking at the S&P 500 made 7%, what is in the top 5%? Of all 500 companies, who is in that top 5% in terms of gains? I don't want you to be average. You need to be at the cream of the crop. All right, so that's number 1. Number 2, what is the context? What is the context for success? Meaning, what is the good, fertile soil that this company is supposed to grow in? For example, right now, when I'm doing this video, the context is tariffs right now. That's what everybody's talking about, and that's what the soil that you are going to have to invest in. So right now, for long-term stocks, right, especially if I'm thinking if this administration is going to be around for 4 years, we're talking long-term, I say greater than a year, so I need to be thinking what is, resistant to tariffs, what is resistant to tariffs, what's going to be relatively stable, what are people going to depend on in a time like this. So I'm looking for things that are defensive, right? That's what the context that we're in. I'm looking for things that are tariff resistant. That's why I said in November 2024, Netflix is going to be the place that you might want to consider. Look at how well Netflix is done, because I'm looking at context. I'm looking at performance. You see how these rules start to play out? And for me, and I've been doing it for a while, it's pretty easy. That guy's right more often than not, because I'm looking at what is going on in the world and say, all right, what companies are going to be able to position themselves? Back in 2020, what was the context and what type of stocks did well? People were talking about, lockdown stocks. People were talking about the pandemic, right? It was a raging virus, so vaccine stocks did well. People were talking about the lockdown, so stocks like Peloton did well. Made a whole lot of sense. It was easy to see. Then people were going outside, so Peloton did not do well. The soil changed. The season changed. You have to start to change with it. At one point, companies like travel stocks, Expedia, we talked about that, Booking.com, because people were going outside. So you guys, go back to work type thing. Those are the soil. That's the context that you need to start looking at inflation, blah, blah, blah. All right? That's rule number 2. Rule number 3, what is the leadership? Who is running the company and what are they doing? Those are 2 separate questions, but it still goes back to leadership. So who is running the company? Meaning, I want stable and consistent leadership. You can always Google who's the CEO. The person who's running NVIDIA has been running it for a very long time. Clearly that person is doing well. I want to keep investing with that person. Same thing with Microsoft. Same thing at Google, but a place like Tesla, and that's not to pick on Tesla, but we all know Elon Musk runs Tesla. We know he can be really good or really bad depending on how you want to look at it, but we see the volatility in a Tesla. Also, take a company like Chipotle. Chipotle a year or 2 ago, or at least a year and a half ago, was very, very good. That CEO left, and once that CEO left, the stock fell, and he went on to go to Starbucks. I want good, stable leadership. My CEO leaves and there's some turmoil. That's a problem for me. There have been some turmoil and some problems at Nike. Nike was not at the top of his field. Nike kept changing and switching CEOs and did not have good leadership. Nike right now is not a good stock. I need to have great leadership. Berkshire Hathaway has been having Warren Buffett for decades, right? And now they're switching to somebody. Will Berkshire continue to have great performance? Hopefully so. We're going to have to see. But when you don't have leadership, Nike, Chipotle, put Tesla in the middle, right? That tends not to help you. And perhaps the new leader can be very good if they pass the torch the right way. But those are the things that absolutely have to have. And when you don't, those are the things that can absolutely hurt you. Now, if you want a shortcut meaning, do you have a list of stocks that are doing well right now that I could, just go ahead and research and decide whether or not I want to invest? The answer is yes. I do have a list for you. If you want to check that out, you can check out this video right here.